Good evening and welcome to the November 18th, 2024 Board of Select Persons meeting. We're going to go into a workshop before the regular meeting, which will be at 7. So we're going into workshop time now. Okay, since you're on the committee, Brady, do you want to handle this?
Yeah, sure. The Building Advisory Committee has proposed a few articles for capital projects that we'd like to see on the warrant for the annual town meeting in March. And so I can read the first article. Shall the town vote to establish a capital project reserve account in Fund 3, known as the Brick Town Hall Revitalization, a corresponding expense account, and transfer $25,000 from the unassigned to the new reserve account? Note that $18,609.34 was received from an insurance claim for water damage to the Brick Town Hall second floor. Funds would be used to repurpose the kitchen and bathroom area on the second floor. So last meeting, there was, when the Building Advisory Committee made these recommendations, they showed on the second floor of the Brick Town Hall, there is a kitchen area and those two bathrooms at the top of the staircase. Our recommendation is that those do not be, maintained back as bathrooms, as that could create another issue like we saw last July with flooding onto the equipment down below. If you're standing on the landing in the Brick Town Hall looking at the bathrooms, the one on the right would be gutted and kept as more of like a janitorial closet for stuff up there. The one on the left is already gutted kind of down to the walls. All the pipes have been, or most of the all the fixtures have been ripped out due to the water damage from that bathroom. Our recommendation would be to take down that wall in that room, as well as the rest of the kitchen, inside that kitchen, and make that a meeting area. The kitchen was done in the 1960s, hasn't been used as far as we know for a while. So we think that, and that would help with the second egress up there as well. There'd be two entrances from, or exits from the main hall up there. So that would be the first article that we would like to see on the March warrant. Does anybody have any questions?
You mentioned a second egress from that second floor. Is that?
So it would be from the hall area, the banquet area. Right now, there's only one in and out. Technically, there's two if you count the fire escape that's up there. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. And getting rid of one of the walls in so wouldn't.
No second egress on the second floor except the existing one.
Okay, so
There's no ladder up there, right?
There's a fire escape.
Yeah.
in the stairs, right? Yeah. So then I guess I'm wrong.
First time for everything.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Gil, that number must need to be adjusted because this account doesn't have what we think it has, correct?
For a $25,000 budget for this project, $18,609.34 cents was monies received from an insurance claim. The difference, we would ask that it be added to the 18,609, and that would come from unassigned. They both would come from unassigned as of 12/31. Everything that's in, where this money lies today would be,
Just know that that had something from this building that needed to be moved in that amount. Last week, I remember, whatever it was.
I'm not, the last time I looked at this, that $18,000 resided in the Brick Town Hall budget for repairs. And there's no plan to spend it in 2024, so on 12/31, it will go into unassigned, I believe you call it, undesignated unassigned. So we're saying, may we have a budget of $25,000, which, when this is voted on in March, we believe would reside in unassigned. So 18,609 is already in the bank, let's put it that way, and we're asking for an additional $6,000 and change to make it 25 from unassigned. Does that help?
Makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the first article? We're not voting on our recommendations in here, are we?
No.
No, we can't.
Can't vote in a workshop.
Discussing.
Same thing we did last meeting. Well, we didn't go over them in depth, I guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is the time where we were getting to points where we have, you have to make decisions about what's going on.
We would like to know if we can advance this to the Budget Committee on this Thursday.
They have it on, they were gonna talk about the recommendations last time.
I think it's a matter of us keeping our place. I think the selectmen have to advance it to them to even
Yeah.
discuss.
Yeah, no.
Joanne and I had that Joanne and I had that discussion. In the past, any project that in revitalization, these things that were on the water district, we always went before the Budget Committee, but she seemed to think that we should make sure that you folks wanted the Budget Committee to even see it.
Well, we got to vote to put it on the ballot or not. If we-
Eventually, you got to vote,
Well, I mean,
put it on there. I'm not
well,
sure when.
it doesn't make any sense to send it to the Budget Committee if we're not going to, if the pot, we should vote tonight whether we're going to put it on the ballot and give a recommendation and get it over with.
Yeah, or, if you think you need more
Then it automatically
information,
forwards to the Budget
we'll be
Committee.
happy to do whatever you wish.
I will say when it comes time to vote for the second floor, I'm not in favor of putting any money into the second floor at this time, so, okay.
Second article, shall the town vote to? We
We
can't.
won't vote until the meeting,
workshop, we don't vote.
Oh, you vote at the meeting?
at 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Shall the town vote to establish a capital project reserve account in Fund 3, Brick Town Hall revitalization, and transfer $245 from the Town Hall repointing account 533-00 to the new reserve account? Capital project account 533-00 has been completed.
So basically, there's $245 sitting in an account that has the project completed, and it's just wasting away there.
From my understanding. The third article is, shall the town vote to establish a capital project reserve account in Fund 3, Brick Town Hall second egress, a corresponding expense account, and transfer $30,000 from the unassigned to the new reserve account. Note, Building Advisory Committee recommended removing the 1932 fire station from the back of the Brick Town Hall to make way for second egress required by State of Maine Fire Marshal. The fourth article, shall the town vote to establish a capital project reserve account in Fund 3, more building revitalization, and transfer $5,000 from the unassigned to the new reserve account. And the fifth article, shall the town vote to establish a capital project reserve account in Fund 3, Scout Hall efficiency upgrades, a corresponding expense account, and transfer $8,000 from the unassigned to the new reserve account.
So what's the $5,000 for the more building for?
That is a start on the painting from the exterior painting.
And I also provided you with quotes for the chimney. This is we talked about, it's part of that.
There was two different options I saw on that quote.
Yeah.
Want to talk about it now? The chimney, we have an estimate. Remove the chimney to below the roof, remove rotten wood and replace with shingles for $2,000. Or reflash chimney with lead, fix rotten wood around the chimney, repoint the chimney and fix loose bricks for $3,400.
I have to assume the chimney is not being used for anything.
I have never been in that building, so I can't say anything about it.
I've been in it.
I saw inside.
I used to work at the fire station.
It's causing water damage inside, it's leaking inside, and that's why it was hoped that it would be part of the repair budget for this building, I think, is what Stephanie said. And when we reviewed all the buildings, it was leaking then, you can see that. So we thought it could be cleaned up and secured so the building won't degrade any further. Thank you.
We have money in the Buildings and Grounds account, don't we? That we,
I can only tell you what we did on the.
$15,000?
I think so, isn't that what we determined?
I mean, if it is leaking,
15,750.
so we have money,
Oh, no, that's what we were going to budget, 15, yeah.
15,000 is according to the green sheet.
and it's under Buildings and Grounds, right?
This, public areas.
Well, that's a building,
I'll grab to see what.
that's a public building.
Yeah.
If we have a building that we own and the chimney is leaking, then we should fix it now. It shouldn't be, it should be fixed right now in this budget and get it done. And I wouldn't advocate flashing it and putting it back up because why would you spend $1,400 on a chimney and not use it? She said, why would you spend an additional $1,400 on a chimney that's not being used? Yeah, no, 2,000, we just read them. 2,000 was to take it down below the level and shingle the spot. And 3,400 was to basically fix it, repoint it, flash it, and put it back up.
I just know she wanted it sealed. That's what
Yeah.
Stephanie was asking.
Was there another heat source in the building?
It's heated by a monitor, doesn't use the chimney.
That's
So-
reasonable.
I don't think they're using that fireplace, no.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
We spent $40.
Huh?
$40 out of it.
So there's still.
Out of
money in there.
that account?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's plenty of money there to do it. I would say we put that on the agenda for tonight, and
Is that,
here we go. We're gonna have to, no, we can do $2,000 without going out to bid, so we're good. I was just looking at the bid amount and how much we can spend.
Insurance within the purchase policy.
Which one are you choosing?
Oh, yeah.
That's a historical building, correct? Are we allowed to remove the chimney? Any other questions?
I believe I remember the answer to the question, but the money for the Moore building was for mini split? When they said energy upgrades and some new lighting and stuff?
The Grange Hall?
The Moore building was like the.
Not the Moore building, the Scout Hall.
Scout Hall? Yeah, we have quoted 4,200 for a heat pump, 1,800 for lighting, replacements to LED, and then 2,000 to repair the ceiling for a total of 8,000.
I believe they made some repairs to that, minor repairs, and used the budget that you had, or at least a lot of it, for this year's budget.
I don't see any other questions.
That's been well explained. Looking for us to make a recommendation that,
Yeah, kind of like Gail said, looking to get it advanced forward to the Budget Committee for their Thursday night meeting, so we can talk about it at the normal Board of Select Persons meeting.
so we'll have to vote on each of these, whether to put them on the ballot and then make our recommendation.
I think, I know that the Building Advisory Committee went and did extensive research in these, getting the quotes. Based on a meeting that we had in the past, I think that it's really good information to have, and if we want to keep these buildings, while I understand not wanting to take on more expenses, we do have a responsibility to take care of them. I understand where you're coming from, John, with the first article and not wanting to really put more money into the Brick Town Hall right now, or at least I think I understand. Because it's more than, to me, it's more than just getting rid of the bathrooms. There's a lot of opportunity with that building that I don't think we could begin to guess what the cost would be. But it's still, if we're planning on keeping it, we've gotta take care of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. None of this is maintenance or taking care of it. I agree to spending some money to putting in a second egress on the first floor.
Right.
I just don't agree to removing a bathroom and 2 garage bays to get there. So, I don't know the best way to look at all the options. Certainly we could walk around it ourselves and come up with some of our own ideas, or try to bring somebody in that has some building knowledge that can say, we can do X, Y, and Z, or we can't.
Right.
So I just don't think that we need to, this amount of money, less than this would put a second exit off the side of the building.
Through window, right.
This amount of money wouldn't even rip down the back 2 bays. So,
No, and I know, like, with a lot of our capital project accounts, this is just the beginning of funding it. And I know that that's a lot of money to take something off of that building, but continue, like, I don't know anything more about historical buildings except that we want to keep the integrity of it.
well, we've got to where I think the best spot would go to put another one of these. There's a pressure-treated set of stairs and a newer door right within 10, 15 feet of it. We've placed LED lights on the outside for security. We've put up modern light poles around the outside, so at this point, I don't know what ripping out the back does for positive.
Gail?
I think your idea of bringing someone in to look at it and give the options for business done. I think if you go through that window on the north wall, you're causing a safety hazard. When the snow comes off that roof, good luck below. When the rain comes off that roof, you're gonna get wet. With hailing, it's gonna be slippery. Okay, so the other door that's coming off the fire station, the 1932 fire station, the roof goes in a different direction. And that's why it's safer to come out that back door and then use the existing sidewalk. And that's why, one of the reasons we recommended that. And it just adds another door to another window. Would you replace the other door with the window that you're taking out?
Please, what other door?
The door on the post office side, on the south side, would you take the window out of the north side and put it in the south side?
No.
Just keep putting doors in the building. You know, that
No,
door
I
can't
would,
be used.
because, what's that?
That door can't be used, we're told.
That door is not a legal fire exit,
Right.
but I guarantee you, if the building's on burning, somebody opens it, they're gonna go out it.
I don't think.
I would never, I would never take,
Window.
what's that?
You put a door in every window, that'll make it really.
Well, no, no, there's a door there already to say to,
Put a window back in it.
you've got a building where there's mass gatherings. I would never advocate for taking an exit out anywhere, ever. I wouldn't, I mean, it may not be a legal exit, but
I would advocate for putting a safe door in, a safe exit point in, and I think, at my home, and my roof isn't as high as that one, the snow, when it comes off that roof, it's dangerous, if you're under, thank you.
Well, I think if we've got an existing door, we should just fix that so it's compatible, with ADA or whatever it needs to be, and
it doesn't have to be ADA.
not
There's-
ADA, but whatever,
They-
code it needs
there's-
to.
because of where it is, you gotta go up over the stage and through the back to get it, and that's not a direct enough route to be considered, we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
To try to get that one, and if you put stairs on that door to meet our code, they'd end up down in the street.
Yeah, didn't you hear the last part?
The stairs would end up down in the street.
Yeah.
According to our CEO, the exit has to be on the same level as the floor, because when you exit, the person with mobility issues or in a wheelchair has to be outside in a space where they can wait for assistance. So to get to that space, they can't climb those stairs on the post office side. You'd have to modify that stage area and modify that door to use it. I'm not sure about after that, what happens when you get outside.
But you need a platform that's big enough to hold a wheelchair, but you do not need a ramp. And then you need stairs coming down that meet code, and they've already checked that and have said stairs would end up down 4 feet into the street if you,
There's just not enough property on that side.
and then, no, because the lawn, even,
Like-
then you still gotta get down to the street from the lawn, because there's a curb.
You have to have a sidewalk all the way to Main Street. If there's
Or towards the back, I guess.
Or go, well, I guess, I don't know, you're going into the doors of the 1932 fire station. Anyway, I don't know if you can put it's a 5-by-5 deck minimum, according to our CEO. And then they have to wait for assistance to get down to the ground. So maybe the most cost-effective solution is to modify the stage area and use that door, build something there, not take any windows out, use the existing door.
Going back, I agree. Getting someone who's not beneficial.
Is the second entrance just for upping, being able to up the amount of people
Yes.
we can have there?
Maybe try, anybody already know anybody that we could bring out, I mean, we could bring out and,
Would Mike Welsh have that kind of expertise?
he was the guy I was just gonna recommend.
He's been involved with that before,
I mean, he's,
He's a carpenter, right?
yeah,
a contract.
ADA or architectural experience, historical. How about Mr. Stanley?
yeah, we can bring him also. I mean, that's, I mean, this, so we're clear, this doesn't have to meet ADA,
The fire exit.
the exit.
It does in some ways, yes. Yes, it does, according to our CEO.
All right, yeah, you're correct. It doesn't have to have an additional ramp, I guess.
No.
It can be a staircase without a ramp, but there are requirements that a wheelchair can get through it and have a waiting space. Correct.
Greg Sanborn has done historic buildings, and he advertises that,
Yep,
so he has a lot of experience.
either one, both, we could, the more ideas, the merrier. Maybe we could announce tonight that we're looking for some experienced help and some opinion on that, and see if anybody comes forward, or if not, we can reach out.
I'll add that to the announcements.
You're probably the most comfortable with it since you're on the committee.
With the fourth article, so for the Moore Building, if we, since we're talking about looking into taking care of this leak, just with the budget that we have, how would that change the amount that would be recommended from the committee?
So in my notes, 5,000 was to start, thinking of the process of painting the outside.
Okay.
I think the chimney repair was hopefully gonna come out of town money anyway.
I don't have any more questions.
Any other questions? I see no other questions.
I've made a note to, put that on our agenda to
Okay.
discuss, so. Actually, more to vote since we've already discussed.
I think we're good to close the workshop.
Okay,
And we'll reconvene at 7 PM for our normal select board meeting.
yes, good, thank you. Evening, and welcome to the Limerick Board of Select Persons meeting for whatever today's date is,
November 18th.
November 18th, 2024. Let's start with the flag salute.
Thanks, Brady.
Okay, well, we don't have our November 12th meeting minutes tonight. We'll review them for next week. So I'd look for a motion to accept the warrants.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Okay. Yep, we go down. And would someone read the announcements, please?
The transfer station is now on winter hours, which is Wednesday and Sunday from 11 to 4 and Saturday from 9 to 4. The Budget Committee will meet on Thursday, November 21st at 7 p.m. Templates to be discussed will be the Building Committee recommendations and the Select Board articles. The Select Board will meet on Monday, November 25th at 7 p.m. The Municipal Building will be closed Thursday, the 28th and Friday, the 29th for the holiday. The Planning Board will meet on Wednesday, December 4th at 7 p.m. The Appeals Board has 2 vacant seats to fill. Please reach out to the Select Board admin if interested at 793-4475. The Limerick Selectboard is looking for experienced personnel to help assess and discuss some items at the Brick Town Hall. Please call the Select Board admin if interested at 793-4475. As a reminder, if you're speaking at any meeting, please go to the microphone so everyone will be able to hear. As part of the hearing a citizen policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public, will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting, and please stay current with town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
Thank you. For department reports, we're going to have some discussion with Connectivity Point and SRC TV. So, we'll go into that. Would someone like to lead this?
So you gentlemen from Connectivity Point? Correct. Gail's out back, so she's a piece of this. SRC TV. Patrick. The other gentleman that sometimes emails, is it David?
Yes.
Is he not coming?
He's the technician of the station.
Is he coming?
No.
All right. So I guess part of the reason for this is, after last week, we moved all the equipment down from up in the Brick Town Hall to here. And lo and behold, we tried to meet last week and we can't put out, we could film the video, I guess, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It was able to be recorded, but we couldn't put anything out onto the internet or through SRC TV. My understanding is that Gail checked everything Monday morning at 9 o'clock, and it all worked fine. Gail, is that correct?
Yes, Tuesday morning,
Tuesday morning,
9 o'clock,
9 o'clock. You came back Monday night and it didn't work,
5 o'clock.
and you couldn't get it out.
No,
Did you call to get any help or do anything?
no, I did not.
Okay. The gentleman, David, does he work for SRC TV
He does, yes,
as an employee?
he does.
But he also works for himself,
That's correct.
okay? And am I correct in that some of the tasks that you guys maybe used to handle through SRC TV, he's now handling alone under his own company?
That's correct also.
Okay. Was that something we ever got, we, other than just, we started getting bills from him, I don't know that we ever got notified that your support was going away and his was coming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he would be the new tech support person at his rate through his company separate of you guys?
Well, that's also true in Standish as well. The complexities of the system as installed by Connectivity Point, if he's not familiar with the wiring configuration and the transmission over streaming and cable, then he has decided that he needs to be paid beyond what he's paid at our station, which is the going rate for technicians is typically somewhere in the range of $65 to $100 an hour.
Yeah, I guess my question is, you guys used to provide that service,
That's correct.
and then all of a sudden you just stopped providing it?
No,
But-
we didn't stop. If the issue is specific to our equipment and what the work that we have done here at the town hall, he will service that equipment. If it's something to do with the transmission equipment back at our station, absolutely, that's within our purview. But if it's something that has been done here that he's not aware of or hasn't been brought into, as far as the wiring, the purchasing of equipment, then he's often at a loss as to what to do with something that he had nothing to do with setting up. So he has to go in there and it's beyond what he often knows how to do. He has to spend extra time trying to figure out what a company we've never even interfaced with has done here.
So let's look back to last week. Gail, my understanding was that on Wednesday morning, you made some contact with Connectivity Point, and you were able to get the signal all back out and up and going?
That's correct. I want to back up. The Thursday night, the week before, was the first time we started using this equipment, and it would not work. So Alicia sent an email to SRCTV asking for support for the next day during business hours, thinking that that would do it, but that didn't do it. It didn't, I'm sorry, thinking that it would work. At 9 o'clock I came in, it worked. I said, I left the system so that SRCTV could remote in, and I figured they had. At 5 o'clock, it didn't work. The next day, we had another meeting that was going to be scheduled that week, so I came in on Wednesday morning, and I believe it was Wednesday, I called Connectivity Point and asked for assistance. And we, together, I can let Connectivity Point remote in. They have a system for that. They remoted in, and together we looked at the software settings that send out the signal and connect to SRCTV through software called OBS. OBS is installed by SRCTV. OBS is managed by SRCTV. But I wasn't going to call and spend the money. And I made that choice. And it's my responsibility. If you don't like it, I've been instructed by David Blaze never to touch those settings, but we did. And we got it working. And the settings were, two of them were a color, I'm not sure what it's called, a color panel. And that was still in place, I believe, by David Blaze, and wasn't removed. So everything was looking pink, because it was a layer over the cameras. I didn't even know how to take that out personally. Okay, I asked for some expertise, and I got it. And we figured it out, and we've been broadcasting ever since, without issue so far.
And is that software in our computer here, or is it Where does,
It's on the laptop.
it's on the laptop.
And the wiring is called U-taps, and that was spec'd out by SRCTV, and we're using that today. When connectivity moved down, the equipment down from the brick town hall, we reinstalled it. It was installed in the brick town hall, and when we did that last May, we sent invitations and made it known to SRCTV and David Blaze when they would be there, and to please come and meet them and see the system, this system that's here now. He did not come.
Gail, is that microphone on?
I don't know. Yes, it is.
That's getting people.
Thank you.
So, as of tonight,
Yes,
we are going out over YouTube on the internet.
yes,
We are going out live on Channel 5,
yes. And we're
Okay.
recording locally.
and we're recording here.
Yes.
So, assuming nothing breaks, there's no reason to believe that there's anything in our current system that will not allow us to continue to do this on a regular basis, the way the people expect to see it. You know, I know things can happen, but,
Yeah, is it acceptable for me to talk from here?
Sure.
Okay,
As
so,
long as you,
yeah, just pull up to the mic, pull the chair up to the mic, or pull a chair to you, whatever, just so they can hear you.
sure thing. Thanks. So, just to speak to, I think one part that needs to be clarified is this handoff that Connectivity Point has, where, you know, where does our responsibility begin and where does it end with our equipment? And where does SRC's responsibility begin and where does that end with their equipment? It seems to me that might be a little bit foggy for some of you. I will say that, you know, I don't know how long, you know, you all have served here, you know, but that line of responsibility, to my understanding, hasn't changed in 27 years. So back when you even had your old equipment that was put in under main video with James Marshall, I represent the same organization. James, he trained me, and I've been doing this for 10 years, and now that he's retired, Dennis and I have taken on this system. But my point is, with the old technology and the new technology, they're similar in the sense that all the video and audio that comes out of that system goes to a distribution block. Think of it as a splitter, like a cable splitter in your house, except it's going multiple places at once. So one place happens to be your recording device that's in the rack. One place happens to be one of those UTAP devices that SRC-TV has provided. Another one's another UTAP device that SRC-TV has provided. If we had a system breakdown, what I'm getting at is it would be reflected in your recordings, and it's not. So what I've found is, and I would own it, you know, absolutely if our equipment has broken down, but it just simply hasn't, to my knowledge. When I looked at those settings in OBS, just like Gail said, there was a test layer that the tech had put in there that he forgot to remove. I removed it. A couple of audio settings. I think that because it's not a permanent installation, she has to set it up every night with the adapters. To my knowledge, it doesn't just stay hooked up all the time.
It stays hooked up, but I have to invoke the software. I have to start the software.
So I can't guarantee what's going on there, but I suspect that when the software reopens, it might be, you know, flip-flopping devices at times. Because it's software-based, it kind of, not to say it has a mind of its own, but she'd have to sort of go in and babysit the settings every time. So as far as my ability to guarantee your reliability, I can up until that distribution block, but because SRC-TV takes over beyond that point, that is where I cannot promise you guaranteed reliability.
And that's where we will. If it is OBS software related, we will step up.
So is it possible that last week,
I want to speak to that. I mean, was
stay
saying
here
this
if
would
you want.
help.
Am I good?
But when I call, it's after 7 now, and I can't, or 6:30 to 7, so I don't feel I'm within your hours. I didn't realize that we would be charged, okay? And I feel like, what are the words I want to use? That I'm being held hostage, frankly, and charged for something that we had for 25 years with the radiant boxes. Never failed. They always work. And with the UTAP devices, I never know. And it's up to him to decide, and he has certainly made it clear that he thinks that we're changing the settings. And I can tell you, we changed them last Wednesday, but never before. I don't even know how. And I did it with help when I did it. And I put a Bible in front of me, and I'll swear to that. Okay? But he doesn't believe me. He charges us. He's angry about it. And I don't blame him for being angry when I call him at 7 o'clock at night on his personal time. I don't blame him. So I feel we've lost a very good system called the radiant boxes for these OBS connections. But we're working our way through it, Patrick. We've worked together before. We'll work through it again. Thank you. There you go.
Respectfully, over the 10 years that the current operator has been working here, we have fielded over 240 Gmail correspondences, not to mention phone calls to both David and the station. Of the 6 towns in our consortium, no town comes close to the amount of tech support calls that we get from the town of Limerick. There is an issue with the hiring process in terms of, do we have someone who has a strong familiarity with technology and broadcast media? And the town of Limerick does not have that. The other 5 towns do. I hear from Standish maybe once every 3 months. But I think David just reached the point where he believed that the calls for support were excessive. And again, he will honor requests that fall within our purview, and that is the software system he devised when we had to ditch our server company. I can't speak for him because he's not here. I don't handle the technical aspects of the station. But we do have someone on staff who's willing to step up and serve the town of Limerick. And we believe that this person will work to the best of his ability to end this seemingly endless series of problems we've experienced here in town. And I think Connectivity Point does great work, but frankly, it would have been better if we had been allowed to install the equipment here, because we'd have a better idea of the technical flow and the wiring configurations.
Well, you say we, but it wouldn't have been we, it wouldn't have been SRCTV.
It would have been David.
It would have been him working alone on his own, okay? So, again, with all due respect and what's gone on, we hired Connectivity Point to move the equipment. We were under contract with them, signed, sealed, and delivered.
Okay,
That was done.
I respect that.
And then at some point, not long after that, David got wind of the fact that we hired them and what we paid,
He was approached by a town staff and
okay?
encouraged to give a bid.
Well, that is unfortunate because that staff,
He knew nothing
that,
of
yeah,
what was going on as
Who-
far as the bidding process goes.
David knew nothing.
He knew nothing at
Okay.
all.
Well, that town staffer should have never, we voted on it, we approved it, we signed the contract, and then the next day, a town staffer called him and said, they're spending $15,000 to move that equipment. And he said, that's crazy, that's way too much money, I can do it for 8 or 9. And then we got a proposal from him. And then he was upset we didn't accept it. We didn't accept it because we were already under contract to do the work.
I totally understand that.
So,
And
so,
the bottom line is, it's working, and for the first time ever, I'm seeing you guys the way you're supposed to look. And that's a good thing.
and that's,
So we're moving forward.
and that's, so is there some, you say that you have I guess, of the calls that you have fielded in the past 10 years, how many of them were equipment related? Because clearly we had some older equipment. I mean, was much of it based on the equipment being old and needed to be replaced with the new stuff we have now?
In the past 10 days?
No, you said in 10 years you received 240 calls.
No, yeah.
Was emails or calls?
Well, we're often asked to do things that we rightfully believe the operator should do. And, you know, to a certain degree, that's fine, but we, again, do not receive the level, anywhere near the level of support calls that we receive here in Limerick. And, we have stepped up and provided equipment when needed here. We've also filled in when the staff are here, the control room operator is on vacation. Those times when those meetings went off without a hitch. And we believe they'll go off without a hitch moving forward if we have one of our staffers here.
Okay.
So you're asking us to replace our staffer with one of yours?
Yes.
Okay, got that.
We think it would be the best interest of the select board, the town of Limerick, and Saco River Community TV if that were to happen. We do field
I get-
calls from Limerick residents, and one frustrating aspect of all this is that we're often blamed for things that for mistakes we did not do. We're not responsible for.
And, you know, we all got big shoulders, we sit up here, and when the video doesn't go out, it's a conspiracy because we're trying to hide stuff, right? So it comes back onto us, like, we're like, none of us could.
Closed door deals.
None of it, backdoor deals.
Backdoor deals.
None of us could control that equipment to save our lives, but when the video doesn't go out, you know, we're having a meeting where we want to hide stuff, we're not telling people. So the people should, I think we are still dedicated to sending it out to the way we're doing it, because apparently there are still some people that have cable boxes and do watch Channel 5, because it's the only way to watch it, is if you have to have a cable box, right?
I've talked to some Limerick residents, and I've encouraged them, if it hasn't gone out over cable, to look on their computers, and they don't want to.
No,
They're accustomed to cable, and that's what.
they want to turn on Channel 5 and they want to get the video. And I think we should continue to honor that, because there are a lot of people that do it that way. I personally, I will not advocate for, I'm sure you have very good staff, and I'm sure the person you're advocating for would do a good job. I won't advocate for getting rid of our staff.
Would you
But what I-
advocate for having a support person show up from time to time? Like, for instance, this Thursday, just to oversee the process and make sure it goes smoothly at our cost?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I don't think, I mean,
I mean, it's
having
not
those, I'm looking at it like this. I think if there's some training that can be done or some knowledge that can be gained, absolutely. But I think moving forward, we need full open transparency that on a Monday night, when the video does not go out either by YouTube or through Channel 5, by the next Monday night, I want to have an answer. Like, I want to know what happened, okay? And everybody's going to have big enough shoulders for you to say, our stuff worked perfectly, it was operator error. Or the operator's got to say, I operated it fine, you know, their plug came loose. We need to get an answer to stop this and figure out when, you know, what's causing these problems and how we can explain to the taxpayers who are paying for this service to see it, have them get the truth, no matter how hard it is, out there. And if we find that we're getting a lot of equipment failure from this end, then we gotta say to connectivity point, you need to do something different. If we find that we're getting it, equipment failure on your end, then we say, if we find it's operator failure, then we gotta look at that. So I'd like to take this as a kind of a fresh start. We've got all brand-new equipment, new cameras, and move forward and say, look, when there is a problem, let's get an answer to why, as opposed to just hoping next week it works. I mean, is that fair? And I don't think, I would hope that anybody that works for us, that there is the possibility to get some training and some knowledge, even if it's redundant. I would think that they would take that on willingly.
All right, well, keep in mind that we do have support staff that's willing to show up here with a couple days' notice.
Okay?
And looking forward, your town looks better than any of the other 5 in our consortium, and that's a great thing. It's long overdue. And,
Yeah.
let's work to mend this relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's, from what I heard, there is the possibility of, from the time it's shut down to the time it's opened up again, something could, for layman's term, deconfigure itself, or, so we need to make sure that the operator knows how to diagnose that, so that they don't have to call you, because that should be something that, if that has the potential to happen on a regular basis, then our operator should know how to fix that without bothering you guys at 7 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock at night or whatever it takes. So I think the fact that we're getting into that software is probably a good thing to get some knowledge there. And, you know, your comment about mending this and moving forward in a positive direction is really what we need to do.
Thank you.
If I may, there are a couple open punch list items on this system that we just moved, and I issued a change order to Alicia, and I just wanted a chance to explain that to you while I was here. When we moved the system from Bricktown Hall, there was a wireless network over there, and when we moved it here, there was no wireless network. There's an assisted listening system that needs wireless to work, and there's also a streaming box that needs wireless service to work. So the change order was for us to implement a basic wireless system. It's a ubiquity, it's a very cost-effective wireless network that we need to support those 2 devices. This is outside of anything that SRCPD does. This is just locally to the system. In addition to that, there were a couple microphones that were not functioning properly that we priced up as well. So we would like to get that buttoned up. I just wanted a chance to field any questions related to that.
Gil, you have that?
Does have it, they can talk about it
Yes,
now.
sorry, I didn't want to.
No, I'm glad you did. It's fine.
Probably head out after this.
Yeah. Oh, you can stay.
We had fun.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Is that the, nope,
Next one, right there.
oh, there it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you email this to us too? I feel like I've seen it before.
Lots of pretty pictures.
I know.
I just want to see the.
I like the photos, thank you. I need those to understand that.
I just want to care what the number is.
I had it open to the number when I handed it to you. And you were so excited about the photos, you ripped it out of my hand.
Yeah, so again, that's a basic wireless router and a wireless access point. We're going to configure the labor to configure that network. We can call it whatever we want to call it. It's intended to just function for this system, correct, Dylan? Or,
Yes,
okay.
So it's only going to be for that.
it's just for this room, there'd be a little guest network in here, so, you know, users could get on the assistive listening. It's a Wi-Fi based assistive listening, so, there's 2 devices they can sign out if somebody doesn't have a mobile phone. If they do have a mobile phone, they can get the free app real quick. And there's a lot of hearing aids now that use Bluetooth, so they can use that if they're having trouble hearing. That was part of the system replacement at the Bricktown Hall. It wasn't added for this move. It's just, it's a part of our scope. We weren't able to complete because you don't have the infrastructure here for it. So that's really all it's for.
I make a motion, we approve the estimate from Connectivity Point to complete the system in the room, the media room at the municipal building.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Thank you.
Perfect.
Say something. I'm the Limerick rep for SRCTV, so I just want to make it clear that Dave didn't just come up and say, well, I'm going to throw a bill at him. All right? They sent many emails to you guys. There was very few correspondence back.
From SRC TV or from Dave?
All right? So there definitely has to be more connection between you guys. If they're having an issue, please reach out to them. The last board meeting, we discussed this, and he had sent in the bill, and Julie said that he had to do a W-9. He goes, I really don't want to do this. Well, I told him, if you do the work, you need to get paid. There was more and more repetitive calls that he had to come in here to do. So, I mean, I would probably be tired too if I had to come in every 2 seconds and get calls, and I'd probably send a bill. I mean, it's been years since they've sent a bill. This is the first time that he's done it. So it's not like he's constantly doing this and he's mad because he didn't get hired to do the equipment or whatever. That's not what it was. He's getting tired of getting multiple requests.
And you said there was multiple emails about this?
There could be multiple emails,
Okay.
there could be multiple calls, I don't know. And there's-
I only have one email, that's why I just asked, but they might have sent it to other
I know
people.
how hard it is getting a hold of you guys. Sending out an email, you don't get anything back. Whatever. Like I said, you guys need to just start in more communication with communication. It's gonna help in the long run with everybody.
Yeah, I'll just bring up the SR9 issue is a matter of getting Social Securities and information for sending him a 1099 if he
Whatever
bills.
the
So
form is, I can't
if
remember what the
he's
form is.
objecting to that, he's involving
He's not
in.
objecting. He didn't want to get paid. He sent in that bill hoping you guys would wake up, that they'd actually get a response from you guys. But he didn't. So I said, well, you need to send in that form. I told him to do it.
Well, I can only speak for myself, which I just pulled up. I think our email system, I hope, will get significantly better when we get the change. I don't like our system, I don't trust it, but going back 4 years, I've got 6 emails from SRC TV. None of them saying that our new service is coming from Dave and he'll be billing you directly. It is a little shocking when you've used the company for so long, and now all of a sudden you get a bill. That'd be like me coming up and you saying, hey, the new thing to do when I register my car is you make the check out to me, right? Like, I'd be shocked, right? So we see a bill from somebody we recognize a name.
I was here how many months ago, asking for a meeting. This is the first one that's happened. You see my point?
Yep.
All right. That's all I want.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I guess we're ready to move on. Yes, thanks for coming. Okay, next item is, we're going to, I'll go on to town-owned property. I guess I don't see Stan, but Casey's here, so you want to address that, please?
It's no problem. Is it working? Okay. All right, so thank you again for having me this week. I appreciate it. I'll start with our historic properties that are under contract. We've got quite a few closings this week. Map 39, Lot 105, on Dog Road. I've got an extension, a new extension, and we had talked about this a little bit last week, that the foreclosing lien doesn't match the resting title ownership lien. Stan's done quite a bit of work this week to find the resting title is in the name of a corporation called Consolidated Construction. And Stan's been doing some work this week with the courts to find ownership information for that corporation so that they may serve proper notices so that we can document the town's interest in the property. Map 39, Lot 106, Dog Road. I received a call this week that the buyer has gathered the funds needed and is prepared to close on time on December 13th. Map 38, lots 4 and 5. I have an extension for closing for this Friday. I did not receive for all of the properties closing this week. This is the only one I didn't receive a copy of their proposed settlement statement. So I'll have copies of that for you to sign later this week. Map 42, Lot 272, King Hill. I have a closing statement for you to sign tonight with the closing on Friday. Map 38, Lot 106, Raptor Ridge. I have an extension for us till December 5th. The title attorney in that case is reviewing the deed, which I received a copy of today, and should be ready to close on time. Map 12, Lot 4, Quarry Road. I have a closing statement for you to close that on Friday, as well as map 40, Lot 20 on Sportsman, and that will be on Wednesday, and map 39, Lot 8, Sportsman, also closing Wednesday. On 12 Range E Road, the buyer has met his obligations in terms of the deposit and proof of funds required. And they have just started making arrangements with their attorney for closing on December 31st. 140 Parsons Field Road terminated the day after our meeting last week, so on Wednesday, after they dug more into the potential problem with the DHS lien. I would recommend that we withdraw this property from market. Stan told me that he would like to, there's some sort of notice that he would have to send to DHS just to, I don't know, potentially clear that. I'm not sure exactly. But at this time where that is such a hurdle for a sale, I would recommend withdrawing it from the market so that we can investigate what the options are. Properties on the market. I received some feedback that the town would like to have an ad in the weekly shopping guide, so I've prepared an ad to start this week. And I'll be able to, there's like a hit counter on my web search, so I'll be able to see how effective the ad is. And essentially, it's a QR link to all of the listings that the town has, and just a notice that the town is selling these properties. Map 41, lot 231 on Arrowhead. I didn't receive any calls about that one this week. Map 41, lot 290 on Arrowhead. I've been in discussions for about 3 weeks with a buyer's agent, with a potential buyer for this property. Just before I was leaving for the meeting, she sent an offer, but the offer wasn't signed and was labeled as in process, which is what happens when you send an offer to a potential signer and they don't sign it. So I've asked her to send a signed copy. It did come after deadline, which is at noon, and I hadn't heard back when I came in here. So we should have an offer for that property. The offer amount was $17,500. Map 42, lot 131, Nob Hill, and map 42, lot 230, Nob Hill. I've received 2 calls on it this week. One was from a buyer who wanted to downsize and build a new house, but wasn't prepared to purchase a property with potential title issues. And the other was a builder who is building right around the corner, and said he would run it by his agent and title attorney to see what his options would be to purchase a property like that, but neither submitted an offer. And map 42, lot 297 on Claymore Terrace, I received a couple of calls on that, particularly from other buyers who were also looking at the King Hill Road lot. We dug into moving on to properties with offers. It's just King Hill Road this week. This is the same buyer as last week. They've increased their offer. They are offering $5,000. It's a cash offer and proof of funds have been received. There's no inspections or contingencies and a closing date of November 26. I would recommend accepting this offer. I did look into our modular files, and we had built the house at the end of the road in 2018. But when I looked further, there's actually another tax foreclosure lot between this lot and her lot, and also a green belt. So it's not an abutting lot.
Okay.
Yes, so would the board be interested in voting on whether to accept the offer for King Hill Road?
Make a motion, we accept the offer received for King Hill Road, map 42, lot 288.
Second.
You mentioned the offer was 5,000 and we were asking 15.
Yes, I would recommend again this week for price reductions for each of the lots that are still on the market. This lot in particular is the most difficult lot that we have.
Yeah, I think with the others, you're having discussions, so I'd hesitate to reduce those, but I might consider this one. So any discussion?
Any questions?
It's 42-288 has 2 different abutters with no, I mean, the one that has the corner of Claymore Terrace and King Hill Road has 3 lots. They're lot 289. And then 288 comes up. That certainly abuts them with no Greenbelt.
Yeah, my buyer was at 284. Lot 287 is town-owned. I did not look up 289. I was a little, I guess, maybe too focused on your request, sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's the one I thought that's got a fairly new house on it.
Yes, and we did build that.
The one with, it's a kind of more of a garage than a house.
No,
A garage in the front with a tiny little side.
oh no, that's not the one I built.
So they own 3 lots. And again, I'm not, maybe they'd have interest, maybe they wouldn't. I'd rather get a little less from them and have it added to their lot than put another house on that single little 288 lot. Or save it until 287's a town lot, right?
Yeah, yes, and I think it's hard to distinguish because I did a quick look up on O'Donnell, and some of them are tax acquired, some of them are owned. In my highlighted maps where I've color coded them, it looks like it's a tax acquired and not an owned property. So by the new statute, it would be very difficult to combine those and meet the statute requirements.
To combine them together?
Right, because each owner has
Yeah.
those rights, and
Well, we put them out for sale separately and accept a buyer that's willing to buy them both.
that's true. I'm not sure if the other lot has been delivered proper notices.
Like, I don't know if it is ready yet or not. I just,
Right.
I mean,
No, I understand what you're
I don't want
saying.
to see a house go up on a $5,000 lot. That's just my opinion, but that's, I'm one, and we got a motion and
We
a second.
do have a
and,
motion and a second.
We got a
so-
motion and a second, so.
Okay, well then, all in favor? It's 3 in favor, so. Opposed? Okay.
Great, thank you.
The podium mic's not seeming to work.
Step right up, Mr. McLean.
Yeah, Steve McLean, on the Parsonsfield Road, where we're gonna take it off the market and keep it in the best interest of the selectmen, should we gate that off, put some rocks there? So, I mean, we already know what it is. People are still going in there before more stuff accumulates in there. So it's something you guys ought to think about. I don't know if you've been out there, but,
Is it posted? No
yeah,
trespassing?
that don't mean nothing.
No.
It's a pretty,
There's like
it's a rough
two-
lot.
Yeah, there's like 2 trailer things and then like masses of trash.
Yeah, I mean, we've already agreed that it's gonna cost somebody
It's-
10 grand to
yeah.
clean it up, but now, if it's off the market, it's the town's liability. So I don't know if you can have somebody put some rocks across there so they can't drive vehicles down in there.
Is DHS not willing to come off the liens? Is that the understanding?
They didn't elaborate when they called to terminate. They just said, we looked into it more. We're sending you a termination, and that was it.
So how about if somebody from the town
Why don't we
contacts?
get in truck, why don't we have,
Stan's working on it.
Stan is working on it?
Because I think they have to have some
They have to have a
notifications or send
notice.
all parties. and-
Okay,
Maybe in the meantime, we do something to secure it a little bit.
probably not a bad idea to block it off.
Can we see if, is that something Scott can do?
Scott, you got Rick tricky, Charles. Somebody can take some rocks with an excavator and block it off for now.
You want to do it?
No.
Rick, do you know where that lot is? Could you block it off with some rocks? How much would it cost? Put you on the spot.
You can just rent the rocks. You can take a couple
$200. I recommend we hire Rick Richardson to block off 140,
signage out there too, John?
yes, some no trespassing, and, yeah. To block off 140 Parsons Field Road in an attempt to keep people out.
Second.
That was a motion?
Second.
Okay, a second. Okay, all in favor? Thank you, Rick.
Right on the spot.
You never know the money you can make
Look at
coming up
that.
here on a
You didn't know
Monday
you were
night.
gonna make money tonight.
Look at that. Score. Score.
We appreciate you.
He'll be back next week looking for more.
Okay, next item is to review legal accounts. I'm not aware of any this week.
Do we want to kind of just jump ahead to the Saco River corridor candidate? I think
Yeah,
he's
that'd be great.
sitting right here.
Yeah, let's jump ahead.
I do not have, I think you have the paperwork, but all we have to do is,
Just approval, we got you to sign the papers for,
Make a motion to approve.
the,
I know you told me, but I do not remember your name.
Peter Larrabee.
Peter Larrabee. I make a motion to approve Peter Larrabee for the Saco River corridor candidate.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Did you want to?
And that's an alternate position,
That's
correct? That's what they're looking for, yeah.
Peter, that means full time.
Excuse me?
That means full time.
It does.
Alternate.
No, I did this. I lived in Hollis 40 years ago and was an alternate at that point. And then my life became busier and couldn't do it anymore. But now I've got time and I'm interested in water quality primarily. I'm not anti-development at all. If it's feasible, legal, appropriate, and doesn't do untoward damage to a resource that we all share, then I think things can be, there can be collaboration. It doesn't have to be antagonistic, and that's my philosophy anyway. And I haven't heard any arguments going back and forth for 40 years, so I don't know what it's like now. But I'll find out, I guess, if that's appropriate.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you for
And
stepping
second
up.
to,
Motion, yep.
okay, then all in favor? And thank you, Peter.
All right, thanks.
Congratulations.
And we have other positions we want to look into.
Well, we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how this one goes. So,
Thank you.
I'll give it to the town clerk and then she'll be in touch then. Test it.
very good.
Swear in. You good to go?
Steve, you got something?
Mr. Vice Chairman, can we skip ahead to hearing the citizens so I go home?
No.
No.
Nice try.
I know I was talking to
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was nice meeting you. Thank you.
Okay, well, next item is the Cemetery Mowing and Veteran Cemetery Committee, and we have nothing new on that issue, so, and we'll go on to the shelter survey. Any update, Katie?
I don't have an update on it this week, but I do need to follow up with Ray to see where we're at with it.
Okay. And the squad truck.
I know I've been saying I'd get together with Vinnie. I have yet to do that, but I will not come back in next week and say the same thing. We will get it done this week.
Say that again.
Yeah, it'll get done this week.
Update Microsoft Exchange email, that's happening in December.
Do we have an official date on that?
no, I'll follow up with that. I know we need to.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get pushed off.
Coming right up.
Okay, the trio training, the conversion is happening Thursday, 11/21. The Budget 2025 Update Review. And I guess we have some capital project requests to determine if we want to,
I started just draft on our questions. So changes to them or anything else that we want to see. There's a couple that I wasn't sure exactly what the wording was. This is also where you can discuss the building advisory ones
Right.
in the workshop too.
Capital project.
Those, so those are, no, so they were, this is the sheet.
Okay.
And then those are the last two budgets, one we had put off and one was we had thought on the election and rec. It's not working, that was not working. It's not working.
I have people at home saying that one's not working at the podium. Alicia, actually, can you sit right here for the rest of the meeting? No. Please.
Okay.
So that Charlottetown, should we read them? I can read them.
Well, I think we've got them somewhat worded, but.
Yeah, Charlottetown vote to raise and appropriate $172,726 for debt services for the ensuing year, $122,726 for the fire station payment, and $50,000 for the Hollandville water projects. Alicia?
Typo. The what?
Holland is supposed to be, is that supposed to be Deepvale water?
No.
Oh. Where was the typo?
It doesn't say Hollandville, but it's intended to say Hollandville.
It says Hollandville.
It's
Hollandville.
missing a word, yeah, missing a.
Oh, spelled wrong.
But,
I think Gail has a question on that.
no, it's right, it's supposed to be
What was this 50,000 for? I'm forecasting that on 12/31, the debt will be zero.
the grant. We expect that. Yep.
Julie and I are working together on it. We're in the final phase on the Treasury, Department of Treasury's website. We'll be talking to some folks tomorrow. As soon as we can clear a couple little hiccups we've got going, we think we'll be in a position to let EPA look at our work for 14 days. And if they approve our work, they'll release it, and then the Treasury will pay it. So I'm forecasting that there won't be any debt services in 2025 for de Hollandville.
I think it comes.
Then fantastic, we don't have to pay them.
I think it's
But if we don't,
Do it, then.
how long have we heard it's coming tomorrow?
All I can report is what
Yeah, and I hope
is
it
what I'm
does.
told by EPA, Community Dynamics, and the Department of Treasury.
Aren't they
That's all I
coming
can
here
do.
for a few days to look at,
EPA is coming here
December
December 9th to audit the project physically. They're going to meet with the engineer. They're going to meet with the project leader, Community Dynamics. I'm sure the Water District will be invited. They're going to physically go to the streets. They're going to review all of the drawings and see if it really happened. I don't know if we have to dig holes, but, you know, whatever. We're going to go there because they're coming. And that's part of the EPA project.
physical
Physical
audit.
part.
And then they also will do an audit of the books,
It's possible.
but that's not the 14-day, that would be.
That's not the December 9th date, is my understanding. It's just, it's more engineering and physical look at the project.
So, we have a deadline for the final warrant due to the town clerk of January 13th. So if we,
Back
we've got
off.
time.
Please take it off and don't leave it there, okay? Thank you.
Won't, if we don't need it, I will.
Stay on top of it, Alicia.
For now, until we have, I think we'll have time.
Oh, I do, yeah,
Shall the town vote to transfer? Do we need to do anything with, like, do we need a recommendation on those?
yes, you do.
So, I mean, I guess then on this one, I would make a recommendation to put on the warrant, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $122,726 for debt services for the ensuing year, right, for the fire station payment.
So you're taking out the 50 for now? I mean, you want to add it back in if we need to?
I would second that. Yeah. I don't know if you were making a recommendation on how to write it or how to, because then do we have to recommend yes or no vote?
Yeah, well, first we'll.
Go
vote
through all of
to,
them.
We'll vote to include it in the warrant. All in favor?
Sorry.
Okay,
Does the 122,726 include the money coming from rescue billing?
Yes.
So that's after that's taken out?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
okay, then, again, all in favor? Okay. Is there another one?
I think we can do it all as bulk, maybe. I make a motion, we recommend a yes vote for the debt services question.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, yes, yes it is.
The next one is, shall the town vote to transfer $40,000 from the unassigned fund balance to the capital project reserve account for paving and maintenance of town-owned properties?
So this, I wasn't 100% sure if you are looking to have money available in the next year for the paving. The quotes, the lowest quote that we got was just under 58,000. We have two quotes. So we have in there 25 now in this account. So I don't know if you want to just raise 25 again, or, because our painting quote, we have 40,000 in our capital project painting quote. The quote that we got to paint this building is way less than 40,000. So we have a quote that already covers, so we don't need, if you want to go with that, we don't need more money for that capital. So that's why I was like, we wanted to do more for the paving. We know that's only going to go up and up. So if we wanted to be able to raise more for that one, then you could get it done. Because you're not, you don't need to raise more for painting.
When do we plan on, like, what is the goal for the paving?
I think that's what, yeah, I
Do we
wasn't.
hope for it to be 2025?
Money, yeah,
And what about painting the?
we have the money there now, apparently. so
We
can go
already
to-
have the
we
money,
can go to
and the
bid in the
painting
spring.
quote, I think, is 26,000 that we got.
That was included in our packets, that paint, it's actually attached to this?
I did attach it, so you can look at it.
26,250. I think that being said, we wouldn't have to transfer the full 40.
Yeah, wouldn't have to, I'm with you. Could we say, well, then should we change it to? Up to, we've done that before.
Well, this is for paving.
Right, but if
So-
we,
Paving quote was, like I said, 57 something.
57, we already have 25 in the account.
Yes,
and then we could vote, like, if we were.
did need all of that.
For the painting.
Yep.
And we had that done, we could transfer in June, in the June warrant, we could transfer money out of that capital account
Yep.
into this one. If, I don't know if that's too many ifs and what have yous.
Ricky?
paving for on the municipal building, does that include grading around the building, removing the asphalt? Or is it just overlaying it?
I think we had this conversation before. I think it was to remove and grade, but Alicia's gonna go grab the quote just to make sure. But I wanna say it was to,
As a plowing aspect, I mean, we've got water that just lays out here in the parking lot that needs to be addressed.
I think that's been mentioned, and that's what I would, yeah, yeah,
Just being concerned. that
absolutely.
They were gonna rip it up and, because, I mean, we got frost heaves out here by the mailbox, and when voting time comes, there's a heave out there. We painted it orange just so people were aware that, you know.
speed bump.
A step bump, too.
So I think change the word to up to 40 or keep it at just 40? Or less?
I would keep it at 40 because we may have some, this allows us to do it at all town-owned properties.
True.
We may have some work up behind the brick town hall.
Yep.
Okay, any more than that? All in favor? Is there a vote to accept? To recommend?
I make a motion, we recommend a yes vote on the 40,000 from unassigned to paving town-owned properties.
Okay, all in favor?
Did we get a second on that?
I don't think there was a second, and also I was hoping that, I don't have any information about our current balances. So I was hoping to look at that before I made a recommendation. Oh, on the sign?
Okay, well, did we get that second?
We have Brady. Can somebody second it for discussion?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Well, no, because Katie's concerned about the balance in the unassigned account.
Yes, and I know Budget Committee will be as well.
How do you think it should have? I think the lady who knows.
May I make the suggestion, you wait till Thursday when your auditor gets here and you'll have current figures? Because your bank statements are current up to September and everything is fine. And your auditors are gonna be here Thursday and Friday to find out how the books were before I came in. I'm working with Vinnie on the fire department's, his accounts tomorrow, and to get that all squared away. I also would request, I've seen none of what you've been talking about here tonight, nothing, to even be able to give you some figures.
What if we changed it, we know that we're gonna have money in the capital project reserve account from the lot sales, and say, transfer from the capital project reserve account to the capital project specific reserve account for paving? Then that's, well,
We know the goes about.
I'd say it's one or two good lots in Lake Arrowhead, but the way you guys sell them, it's 8, so it's gonna take a while, but we can keep,
Supposed to be going into a specific account, can't you just cite the account, I'm checking with you, the account that is going in, that you're carrying it forward,
which money?
the money that you're selling the property to?
That has to go into, that by our vote, the money we're selling property to, after we take out all the expenses and put those expenses and costs back into the general account, the leftover money has to go into the capital project reserve account. That's the main one for any capital project. But we have a special capital project reserve account designated just for paving.
Which we're hoping to transfer the money to.
So we'll transfer the money from the capital reserve account, general, into the specific reserve account just for paving.
Thank you.
Don't do it yet, they gotta vote on it.
No, I understand,
Okay.
but I'm just trying, to see where you're going, because if I don't get the paper trail to see where it's going, then there's a couple people up there get mad at me because it hasn't been done or I did it the wrong way.
Well, these are all, they're all in the warrant for March.
Warrant, so
These are
yeah.
all, like,
And the warrant's gonna be in the same order that it is in the budget, right? And, that was a big
It's-
request that we asked for when I first came aboard.
what do you mean?
You mean like
The breach,
this?
that's in the same order as your reports, instead of jumping all around the place.
In the town report, you mean?
No,
No,
in her ledger accounts.
in your ledger
Oh,
account.
no, I would not guarantee or promise that right now.
So, yeah, at this point, we've never done it that way.
No, I mean,
But-
No, and that's why it
Yeah.
was such a zoom to get it in order
Yeah.
when I came aboard.
So perhaps we should get a list of your ledger accounts, and if we can renumber some stuff, it doesn't hurt, right?
no, I don't want to say that that's how it's done, because it's definitely not.
No, it's not yet, but we could
Because I've done it, no.
take a look at it, and if it's an improvement, we might as well try.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that would be,
So we'd be changing the words.
yeah,
The wording.
the motion.
So you're gonna restate your motion?
That'd be Brady.
Did you,
I'll make a motion that we transfer 40,000 from the capital project reserve account to the capital project reserve account for paving and maintenance of town-owned properties.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
I make a motion, we recommend a yes vote on that article.
Okay, all in favor?
I don't think our quotes do have money, but we
Quotes have what?
don't quite have what we were talking about, or what you were
Grading.
talking
Well, then we
about.
gotta go back to them. I mean, it should be all at least ground up and re-leveled and,
I think we need to do a site walk and get together with these people, because it says right here, it just says repair pipe trench 10 feet by 25 feet. And then it says excavate and pave 2 inches of mix. It doesn't say, I mean, there's a lot of issues out here that need to be addressed. There's water issues that need to be considered.
Which we tell, yeah.
extra money there might help us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's why we changed it to maintenance too, because when we had our budget committee meeting last time, they were like, if you put the maintenance part in and you run into an issue out here, or you're asking, like, the water issue that comes in, like, then people don't just think you're doing paving.
Do
like
we
you
need to
can-
vote to change that? We don't have that currently on the account, right? It's just paving? We need to vote to change the name of the account?
well, it's paving and maintenance. I mean, that should cover it.
But I don't think it says that now. This is for the warrant article purpose, but not necessarily what the account currently is called.
I don't think we need, if we decide to do a real, the paving job that needs to be done, or a crappy one, it's still a paving job.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes time, I think we're covered. I mean, that would all be part of paving.
And I'm not, right, I just want to make sure that we have the names of the accounts right.
Oh.
If we're
Yeah, if,
needing to change them, how we have to go about that.
Paving town-owned properties.
town-owned properties. That's the way it's been set up since the beginning.
It is. Yep, safe. Cool.
All right, the next one is, shall the town transfer up to 15,000 from code fees for a CEO/constable vehicle?
I make a motion, we place on the warrant the question, shall the town transfer up to $15,000 from code fees, and recommend a yes vote.
Second.
Okay, further discussion on that? All in favor? Okay, that took care of both.
The next one is the
Next two are Vinnie's.
So we have them on.
I just want to put them on here because we'll need to, I don't know exactly what amounts
Were they the same as the last one, you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure, I just wanted to go over them with him. The dry hydrant one, I believe, is new, but the SCBA, I think he's gotten 30, or asked for 30 before.
I think he has them on his, budget thingy.
I'd hate to vote on them without the numbers.
Well, we got time to get some information.
I wasn't sure if we were putting something on for the old fire station. Are you looking to ask the town to do something there? Yeah.
What one?
Motion, we transfer from the capital project reserve account $7,500 to use for a professional study, either by an engineer or an architect, the feasibility of the old fire station continuing as a building
At 24 School Street.
at 24 School Street.
Just some people think of the Bricktown Hall as the old fire station.
Okay.
I know, but now they're both old, the old ones, so I don't want the 24, yeah.
The old one.
The new old one.
Which fire station, 1962 or 1932?
That's what we just, 24 School Street,
24 School Street.
24 School Street.
the 1960s one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there a second on that?
I'll make a second on that.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor? Did that include a yes vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Personnel policy question,
Are
change
you
question?
looking to do any, put it out to the people to change the question about insurance, or are you leaving it as it is?
Is that the FMLA?
No.
No.
This is just the,
$6,000, we give a $6,000.
Yeah.
That's done by, that's in the policy, that's not in an ordinance, I don't think. But it's not an ordinance. Yeah, we talked about voting on
we
it.
talked about putting it to the people because the people voted to do it.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to change it moving forward, or, then that's what the discussion was. So I wasn't sure where you were at with that.
I advocated for new people to either drop the number or do away with it in its entirety.
Yeah, I think we would
there
reimburse
was,
up to 6,000 a year for their insurance costs, but not just the flat 6,000 is what was discussed, if I remember correctly. So if they only pay 100, they're only getting $100 reimbursed and not the 500, which makes sense in my mind. For new employees, yep.
So do we have some wording for that?
before we, if, this is kind of where we get ourselves in a little bit of trouble, is we put questions on the ballot, and people vote yes on them, and then it either, you gotta find a ballot from 20 years ago and say what was said. If we're gonna do this, it should be an ordinance, right? Like, this is where we're at. If we're gonna vote, if the people vote on something, they should be voting on an ordinance to follow and go by. So I would maybe recommend, I know we're gonna have the lawyer review all the ordinances and anything we're gonna do anyways. So I would look for some wording maybe from the attorney that is safe.
So do you want me to get that, or
If people are interested, I mean, if that's what we're looking to put on,
looking to just leave it?
then see how we can, we did vote on it once, so they ought to go back and look at the old vote, and let's take the old vote and get it into some new wording, so we have an ordinance to go by, and something to follow and something to put online, because we've got too much stuff that we vote on, say, oh, well, the people voted to film all the meetings.
I
Well,
found it.
You found it?
I did, I have it up here. back in
But it was never-
2012.
But it was never put on as an ordinance.
No, but we did
So-
change it in 2023. Anyways,
Yeah,
sorry,
so-
back to your
No,
point.
that's what I'm saying, is if we're gonna vote on these things, they need to be voted on as ordinances, not just vote and say, okay.
And then it just disappears
I think this is what we meant when we said it 4 years ago.
in a town.
Yeah,
Right.
so I would get some wording on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is, shall the town vote to transfer $38,000 from the unassigned fund balance to the capital project reserve account for a playground set and a picnic pavilion for the recreation department? I know I was there at that budget committee meeting. The current playground that is down there had a 20-year lifespan. It's at year either 18 or 19, so it's ready to be replaced. And I don't, is there currently a pavilion down there? I don't think so.
This will not replace that, this is to supplement that, just so you know.
For the play,
For the playground, I was
they
under
had
the,
quotes for that.
I was under the impression to, he had quotes to replace it with installation included.
Yeah.
Was-
To remove that one and replace it with a new
Yep.
one?
I'm pretty sure,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought that this, what he gave us was something that was going to be a little more suitable for younger kids and would supplement what's there, but not remove what's there.
If we want to hold off, I can reach out to him. And I think that we also discussed at that budget committee meeting, that I think Stephanie brought it up, that before we were to put either another structure or spend that kind of money down there, we should probably think about more dedicated security cameras. I sent Greg what I have installed at my house. It was a $300 system, DVR. If the town buys it, I'd be willing to install the cameras on the snack shack. Comes with 4 cameras at 1 terabyte storage. If there's Wi-Fi, you can view them remotely. I installed them at my house in Old Orchard, and I installed them here at my house in Limerick. So
They can be used without Wi-Fi?
they can be used without Wi-Fi. You can review the monitor there. If you want to view it remotely, you would have to have Wi-Fi. But at my house, it's not hooked up to Wi-Fi, and I just have a computer monitor that I view it from.
I think we should get the cameras we bought up and running first.
Those are the wireless,
Yeah, I'd like to get those up and running.
yeah.
We did put one in there, a borrowed one temporarily, and it worked pretty well. It actually,
Porta potty
we
one.
found the porta potty bandits. We talked about trying to get in touch with, we gotta get, part of the problem is we need to get, we gotta get a SIM card from Verizon, and trying to get through Verizon is like getting into Fort Knox with who is okay to call our contract and all that, so, but you're working on that, right? Yeah. I mean, once we get the SIM cards, we can set the cameras up easily.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
no,
can
I was
be-
just saying,
yeah.
it was
I've
a
seen-
cost, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a Cunningham, it was,
No.
I think it's $300 for the system, and it's lasted me, it lasted me at my house in Old Orchard Beach for 2 years, and it made a move up to here, and it's lasted 2 years, so it's best $200 I spent.
How would they get way over to the playground?
Well, that's what I said. It would have to be, installed on on that snack shack. I'll be the first to admit, I haven't been down there enough to know where the damage is. If wireless is the way to go, then I'd recommend going wireless. I was just thinking, for just even the looks of them, putting security cameras on that building, the snack shack building would be, ideal. That would help hopefully deter some of it. I see that snack shack building when I leave Duncan, so I know what that building looks like. But yeah, we should definitely try to get those. If we have the cameras, we might as well get them running.
That you would want to look into transferring more money into a reserve account, or can we vote on this? Because it's not, even if it is to get us started, even if he's gonna need more, this gets us a place.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
go.
this
think there
is, I thought from his packet that he gave us, it was a new piece of equipment that was gonna be installed to the left of the, who gave the 20-year lifespan for the playground that's there?
Stephanie, she was the one who originally installed it.
I don't remember him saying he was
I'll-
taking it out.
What's that?
I don't remember him saying he was taking it out.
Recollection is also that it was going to be supplemented
Yeah,
to
I
take
know
care of the
it's gonna
younger
Added,
kids.
but
It was gonna be something made more towards young kids. And
I could have missed it.
I'm the first guy to admit, I'm sentimental to that playground because right next to Stephanie and her husband Ray, we dug all the holes, and it was a miserable erector set to figure out where to dig and how to put up, and we did it, and it took us a while. So I am sentimental to seeing it ripped out.
Said he
When
knew
I
he
think
was gonna have it paid this time to have set up because of how long that.
I mean, there are,
took.
we've had issues with the plexiglass windows, but those have been ordered and spares, and it's just a matter of a dozen bolts, and if somebody breaks one, we can. They've tried that twice. They've tried that, the problem is, it's such a specific fit. It's not just a square, it's a bubble. So you can't go to the hardware store and grab a piece of, and people have tried that before and have tried to silicone it on. It's just, the company still is in existence. They still make all the parts. We can probably get some of the matching paint, paint it up and make it look as good as it did 20 years ago.
I did get confirmation that is an addition for now. So
Okay.
I misunderstood. You were right.
This was coming from, this coming from unassigned or capital?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. Again, with, if not for sure knowing will there be enough? I know we're pulling a lot from capital, so will there be enough, or do we want to hold off on this one until we get the balances?
I mean, there will definitely be this in the unassigned, and we're not going to be down to $38,000. So if you want to do it from unassigned, then money will be there, but we have to make sure that we also vote to establish the reserve account for the playground set and fund, because we don't currently have a reserve account for playground equipment. So,
You just have bleachers.
so I make a motion, we transfer $38,000 from the unassigned fund balance and create a capital project playground reserve account and transfer $38,000 into that account for expanded playground and picnic pavilion at the ball field, and recommend a yes vote.
I will second that.
We have the cameras.
We have the cameras.
We're
We're
gonna get
gonna
the ones
wait
we have
for
up working first.
Okay, will we have by Thursday a figure for what is in that, in the balance?
I think the auditors are coming Thursday. So I would say maybe not by Thursday because they're coming in on Thursday, maybe next week. I don't know what the auditing timeline turnaround is.
Yeah, 'cause if we don't have any figures, I expect the budget committee will recommend a no vote.
These don't have to go to the budget committee on Thursday. Well, yeah, anyway, these are really, I wanted to get what you guys wanted, our wording, our recommendations, so there's other stuff we can certainly work on Thursday.
It doesn't look like, it's just a recreation.
That's what we choose.
Okay, I know that it says two
Yeah.
appropriate funds, okay.
All right. Do we want to go now through the building advisory committee recommendations?
You need to either vote on that.
What?
All in favor, or you got a motion and a second,
We
but
do
not
have, okay.
Okay.
all in favor.
All in favor?
My apologies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Building advisory committee recommendations?
Yep.
So, should I read them again? Article 1, shall the town vote to establish a capital project reserve account in Fund 3, Brick Town Hall revitalization, a corresponding expense account, and transfer $25,000 from the unassigned to the new reserve account. Note, $18,609.34 was received from an insurance claim for water damage to the Brick Town Hall second floor. Funds would be used to repurpose the kitchen and bathroom area on the second floor.
I guess, given the conversation on the last couple of capital
We
projects.
should get a second before discussion.
We don't have a motion, he was just reading it.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
make the motion? Did you make?
I was reading
No,
it.
he
He
just
just
read
read
it.
it, we haven't got a motion yet.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
and that's why I wanted to just say something before we make any motions on these. Maybe we can hold off till next week when we have, because not all of them, but there is request for funds from the unassigned account, and I would just be more comfortable in warrant articles and recommendations with numbers.
Yeah, if we don't have figures of where we're transferring it from, that would be difficult. So I agree, so let's put the capital projects from the Building Advisory Committee off for a week.
We're meeting, the budget committee's meeting on the 5th. I know they don't meet next week.
Yeah,
'cause of
we're meeting
Thanksgiving.
this week, but not next week.
This Thursday and then the 5th, yeah. So the 5th, yep.
Okay.
If we're talking about warrant articles, I would like to consider two, based on the charter failing, from what I've heard, and other people can speak to what they've heard, that there were two items on there that people, that were the hottest of the two topics. One was the town manager, and one was the elected officials. And there were a lot of people that were, there were people that I've talked to that were okay with the one or the other, but voted no, because they just either didn't want to get away from the elected officials, or didn't want to get away from the town manager. I would like to propose that we put on a warrant article, at least one solely for the town manager position, to move it forward.
Did you say you motioned?
I didn't say a motion, I'm just,
I think it's a good idea.
I'm just throwing it out there. So,
I was gonna second.
so that those that voted no based on something else, but really thought we needed the town manager, may be willing to vote on this singular item in a positive way. We can do them both, put them both on separately. I would put them separately. So I don't know what the feeling is. If there is, we can look at some wording for next week.
I think it's a great idea, the town manager at least, the other, I think we voted on a number of times and it's clear. I agree with you to an extent. Steve, I apologize because I know the citizens might not be able to hear you, but what I'll say is we are gonna have significantly fewer voters come March. So are we gonna get real numbers?
Well, I think if people feel strongly enough, they're gonna make the
They'll
effort to come up and vote, one,
You're right.
one way or the other. I mean,
Town manager question and an elected officials question.
I would be okay with that.
We'll get some wording and vote on those next week.
Okay.
And you good with?
Not raising anything else for painting.
Yeah, I think what we have in there covers it, and then some would be good.
I'm surprised we have a quote that,
Thank you.
is FLMA state law figures.
Actually, can you vote to approve the elections and budgets?
I make a motion, we approve the Recreation Department and elections budget as presented.
And a yes vote.
And a yes vote.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion on that? I think we got our questions answered, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, last time we looked at it, there was an increase in equipment. Or repair and maintenance. That's all changed. I think it all makes sense for the rec.
Yeah, and I think there were some questions that, got answered about the desks and equipment that were bought from that department, so.
Yeah, from the elections also, yep.
Okay, so it doesn't just show the 38? Nope. Okay, because I printed the wrong one, so.
Okay, did we get a second on that?
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Nope. Okay, then moving on to the FMLA state law figures update.
So this is for the town, whether we want to contribute half or, I'm sorry. See, I told you just to sit over there.
So I reached Julie giving me the highest salary for each month, like a payroll for 1 week. So I just used that one and multiplied it by 4 to get a figure for the month, and then just did 1% and 0.5% of that. So then you could get an idea, like if the town paid the full 1% for the year, what it would be, and if you split it with the employee and the town, it would just be split in half. Well, we have to decide how we're gonna handle it as of January, yep.
Make a motion, the town absorb the total 1% cost for the FMLA contribution to the state.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
So I guess we need to raise this money. Where are you, for the budget wise?
Add it to payroll
We
as a
need-
separate line.
Okay. How much do you,
Yeah,
what do you think is a good total?
$11,000? Well, this is last year's, right?
Well, this is this year's, only until October, so you need to put in 2.5% COLA. It's just hard,
Just to
right?
cover
'Cause
merit
fire,
raises?
like, the one I think that wavers the most is fire, EMS, like, pay what, like, depending on what.
Yeah, so we do use it up to 12,000, does that be work?
Well, we don't need to put a number to it. We need to have a number for the budget,
Yeah,
but I don't think
That's-
it's not like we put, we need to have a number to budget with, but
That's what I
not
wa-
in the motion. Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
sorry.
want to know what you want to put in the template to budget this in. That's
I
all.
would say 12,000, that's my opinion. Taking that number, and I just added 3%, just to cover COLA plus possible merit increases. Brings it to, 1129.45. So I think 12 would be, if we don't use it, we don't use it. I don't know how everybody else feels with that, but.
Works for me.
So 12? Okay. Got it.
Run away again?
For now.
Okay, next item is update on winterizing the old fire station. Note here says that is all done.
So water off drained?
Did that for us.
Perfect.
Okay, update on streetlight for Enterprise Road and Route 5. It says here the paperwork has been sent to CMP. So we're,
Stan and I have been working on it together.
so we're waiting on CMP, so, okay.
And that's to install a streetlight.
I think they do. CMP will install it, yeah.
Okay, the next item is to sign the payroll agreement with Municipal Resources and Trio. And we have 2 forms to review.
So this is what Julie would like
Yes.
to speak to.
Julie, would you?
Come on down.
Thank you. Your paperwork that you have from municipal is the one that you need to sign. The price is more because they're going to handle all of the payroll process. The second paper contract, I spoke with both Carrie and Allison of Harris on the phone today, and they both went to the fact that don't go with the Harris for right now, but maybe put it in your budget for 2025, or at least part of it, and then the other half would be in 2026, or whichever you need it, because the Harris program part, so that all employees can access their files, they'll be putting their timesheets pretty much in by themselves, is $10,451 and change. And your program from the payroll services, I believe, is $12,500. I don't have a copy of it anymore. That one, we hope to implement, if it is signed tonight, by being in process and in place January 1st and up and running. There is still a lot of implementation to get it done. I will still have to handle some of the payroll, but not anywhere near as much. If you later down the line add Harris's software, that allows all of your employees to put their timesheets in, where this, right now, I'll have to handle the timesheets to be given to the municipal software company. And it's my recommendation to, the municipal line is greatly detailed out, to read it and go with that and let them, because we're down to 5 weeks, 6 weeks maximum to get this in place, and that's going to be a real tight crunch. Plus, you got your audit coming in, you have year end coming in, you got your W-2s, your 1099s. Foreclosure notices are going out, and to add all that to injury, I'm not sure when my heart surgery is going to be. So, but they're telling me if I can get it on a Thursday and Friday, that as long as I can get to work, I can do my work. So that's what I've been told. Just can't take care of my own family at home. But I will give you the copy for Harris. As I said, that's 10-4. And Allison and both Carrie suggested that we not do it at this time. Any questions?
You mentioned employees, putting their own time card information in. How would, who would approve those before?
The department head would be looking at the reports that would be generated by that software, and before it's forwarded on to municipal to do the payroll.
Okay, so the department head would get a pro forma, sign off on it, and then it would be done. Okay.
Yes, sir. And I believe if you read the Maine Municipal, they will do it as well here to make sure that it's signed off on for each department. Once we get, then I can set up with Carrie, and then we can start seeing what we have to do on this end to get ready. But I did talk to, we had a conference call this afternoon for about 20 minutes between Trio and Municipal and myself.
Okay, so you're recommending we go with the 10-4, but not with the other one at this time?
You're going with the municipal bid and not Harris right at the moment? Yes. What is it, 12.5, 12.4?
It was 12.4, 12.5, yeah.
Yeah. But hold off on that one, because Allison says it's just too much to have to learn all at once. Get in place your payroll so that you know what you're doing with the municipal payroll, and then maybe at the second quarter, or after the first quarter's gone by, then go. But the recommendation was to put that money in your budget, because you're not going to just pull that out of a hat. And I have both the ladies' cell phones, and they are available if you have questions.
Can you double check on this one? I know they bring in their own special time clock. It says one at $1,400. But then on the side, it says set up and configure time clocks. One isn't gonna do it, we're gonna need
At
two.
least two.
And maybe three.
Okay. I can call her tomorrow.
And find out if that price is for the, if we need two more locations.
Okay. Not a problem, I can do that. Allison is very good at getting back up to me.
The next week after we get that information?
Well, that one we said we're gonna put off anyways, but we do need to make a motion to sign the agreement with Municipal Resources and Trio to provide payroll services.
Municipal Resources will be using the payroll that Trio has at this time and working with me to get what we need acclimated. I know one thing that I need, just from looking at the records that I have now, is we're gonna need phone numbers and email addresses for everybody. Because even with the Trio we have right now, I'm not using, so I could email them their check stubs right now, but we're not using it at all. Because the information isn't there, birth dates aren't in there, and I might make a recommendation for as payroll, if we're gonna do this, send out to all the current employees a whole new packet so that they can do their W-2 and their W-4s, and fill out the information that's on your I-9. And then you've got an all-new record of them, their direct deposits, to make sure that they're right. And I know it's a little bit pain in the butt, but then everything will be current.
Do they have the availability to scan those into their system and
Eventually,
electronically as opposed to?
it will be, but for right now, I don't know,
Okay.
don't know how exactly. I didn't have time to print out, because I got your warrant done. She says it's quite detailed, the one on the municipal payroll, it's quite detailed of exactly what they'll do.
Good.
Okay, and she's already met with Vinnie and I once. Very nice young lady. And I know I've worked with Allison for as long as she's been with Trio, or at least 19 years. No. Anything else, folks? All right, thank you.
Those in here for us, for our signatures?
Whatever she just gave you. You don't want to sign that one.
We don't want to sign this one.
Not that
The
one.
one that says Harris on it.
Okay, right.
You need the municipal one.
Do you have to, yeah?
No, I don't see it here.
Gary, because I gave it to you because it had a price increase. Now I go back and put another one, because I saved in my email.
Might want to try to grab it if you can. Thank you.
My question is, we quoted out payroll services pretty extensively, which Harris, obviously we work with Trio, and so it made sense, but also their price was right. But now we're talking for the total payroll services, over $20,000?
It's one time.
Okay.
This is one time
Just a
to
second.
give us a much more technologically based,
System
yeah.
for it.
I'm sure most people will be able to come in, I can't speak to it, but most people come in, either put their thumb on a
Yeah.
scanner or punch in their time, and then it's, from there it goes. So this, I believe, is for that.
Okay.
That's why they're saying, we don't need that now, implement it later.
Good, okay.
You didn't vote to sign that yet.
The other, we don't have the total on the other one.
Oh, you're ready for
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah.
You can
So
come
you
back
guys
to
can
me.
have that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll bounce back. The next item is to sign the poverty abatement paperwork.
That's the one we had from yesterday, right? From last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
We already approved it,
Yeah,
so
it's already approved, you just have to.
all we have to do is sign it.
Okay, we'll sign it after the fact.
Before we go, I make a motion, we approve a second poverty abatement for Citizen X.
I'll second that.
You don't say, you can't say that.
No, you can't say anything, no. That's why it's just,
Sorry.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
X for good. So for those, just so we're not there, we are select persons and overseers of the poor. We do have a citizen who we believe does not have the capability to actually fill out the abatement paperwork, certainly does not have the means to pay their taxes, and appears to have limited to no family help to also help. So as opposed to keeping this person to where we take their house from them, we have enough information to know that they can't afford it and they can't go through the process, so therefore, that's why we're approving the abatement.
Okay. Well, that's all the old business, so moving on to new business. We've got review of the quote for mowing the Moore Building in Grange Hall.
Do we all have that?
Okay. Okay, do we all have that, or shall I
Just
read
you.
this?
Just you have it.
Okay. And the quote is for a total of $900, made up of Wellington Scout Building is $50 8 times for $400, and the Historical Society Building, which I assume is the Moore Building, 8 times at $50 each for $400, and then pruning the yews at the Historical Society Building, that would again be the Moore Building, 1 time for $100, with a total of $900.
Who's it from?
It's from Professional Landscape Services.
Is that the same one who does
So this is our.
Highland?
Yeah, Highland Annex. So he checked out the Moore and Boy Scout.
Excuse me? No one really did it, and it just overgrows, and it's really, it became to a point where it wasn't something you could even mow. It just got so overgrown, but now it's been cut back. It was poison ivy. This is start next year, I assume, right?
Yeah, and that'll keep the vermin away, it'll helpfully keep mice and rats from going into the basement there, so.
I recommend we amend the contract for, what is the company again?
Professional Landscape Services.
Professional Landscape Services for an additional $900 per year for services at the Moore Building and Boy Scout Hall.
I'll second that.
Also, his contract was the one that we added extra mowings to. Because the cemetery committee came to us because we weren't mowing it enough. Did we, and I'm like, I would probably have to get it, so I don't know if I should bring it next week, if there would be, we need to amend something for that. I know we added extra mowings. I can't remember what that looking at.
If we did, we'll just add it as a second amendment. Second.
Yeah.
Just want to handle it before it comes to.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second to add the $900 to the contract, so is there, all in favor? Okay. sign the note modification agreement with Partners Bank. Do we all have a copy of that, or have I got, I've got the only one?
Is this just because we didn't use the whole note?
No, this is, I've seen it. This is because we made the lump sum payment of $1.8 million
Yep.
to re-amortize, excuse me, re-amortize the loan based on the new amount.
Okay.
So they took the original 3.75 million, subtracted the 1.8, and it should have a new, it's got the payment in there, and that,
1920.
yeah, and that payment is based on the new amount, and that payment reflects what we approved before for debt service.
Perfect.
Motion to approve the modification agreement with Partners Bank.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay, all in favor? Okay, we'll sign that afterwards. And next item here is to review the quote from Connectivity Point, but I believe we already did that.
My name's still not on this one.
Is it still not there?
And Katie's still the
the chair-
chairman, so I don't know if we need to get that updated. Yeah, I'm not on there.
I asked him.
Hey, my name shouldn't be associated with the fire department, so we'll use that as the
Because
excuse.
it's a note modification to the original
Original
note,
one, yeah.
that they have to be signed the same, so.
Hey, I got a half day of work for free that day. I was okay with that. We already went over that quote with the connectivity point, and we approved that, so, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
then we might have, there's probably stuff to sign here on it, so we'll do that. And review the request from White Tibbetts Post-American Legion. Okay, I don't see, oh, here it is, okay. It's handwritten, so I guess I have the original, I'll read it. The White Tibbetts American Legion Post of Limerick, Maine is requesting the Memorial Day celebration funds for the year 2025 that the town has earmarked in the budget for this event.
Did we have money in the budget for the Memorial Day?
Yeah. We haven't,
We just haven't given it to them yet? Is this for 2025 or is this for last year? This is for next year?
yeah, which we can't do that until we vote on it.
So they're requesting the funds, or are they requesting that we appropriate the funds?
They're requesting that we give them the funds. So I believe we have to wait until the town votes on that for 2025.
Yeah, what did we have? We gave them last year. Is it in here?
Tibbetts Park,
No.
Memorial Day,
Yeah.
2000.
Memorial Day? Yeah,
Always, yeah.
the way they wrote it, it's confused whether they're
Maybe we just
want clarity
in that letter. They probably
I think they're, I mean, I guess,
It says 2025.
okay. So then, they know they don't get it up front. We've never done that, so. Who's the letter from? Is it somebody new?
It's from, Albert.
Why don't you, let's reach back out to them and make sure we're clear, find out if they got their 2,000 for this year.
Maybe, I mean.
And if they haven't,
Confused, because but they would have already known more and reaching out late, where they had it.
maybe they just realized they didn't get it, who knows? So let's see if they've gotten it. If they have, fine. If not, we appropriate it again for next year. If we,
Buy stuff already, I don't know.
yeah, well, we can't give it to them early, so.
We do have some municipal deeds to sign.
Do we skip over the citizen letter? We skipped over the citizen letter as well?
Well, I was going to come to that after this.
Oh, okay.
Do we need to approve these, or is just, we just need signatures?
There, once Casey waiting, if there's three, is there three total? They're the ones you've already approved for all.
So we've
So
already approved them, so we just need to sign them?
So they just need signatures.
there is one new one.
Okay, I have one new one, sorry. Was it,
Correct.
corrected?
So we've approved the three. There's one that's a corrective deed that we need to motion, approve, and sign.
Yes, the other ones were already.
So I make a motion, we approve the corrective deed?
Second, but I'd like to see it.
Here's all three.
That's the corrective deed. These are the ones we've already approved.
So,
It should give a reason. Is there an explanation? That was the wrong, it had the wrong map and lot number
okay.
when we gave this guy a deed back in several years ago. We gave him a deed and had the wrong map and lot number
Okay.
in January of 2021. So it's just to correct
Good
that.
time for corrections. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second on that one?
So we had a motion and a second on that? Okay, all in favor? Okay, we'll sign that afterwards.
Can you note that I abstained, please?
Yes. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is we have a letter from a citizen that we've been asked to read. It says, "Hello, I recently bought a house on Quarry Road. I notice a lot of truck traffic on my road. I am not against traffic or any work being accomplished. I am, however, concerned with the noise. The road is showing deterioration directly in front of my house. Every time a truck passes, it shakes my house. I have recently learned that the town has a handshake agreement with the contractor saying that if they damage the road, they will fix it. I have not seen hide nor hair of the road commissioner. Overhanging trees, piles of brush from the spring storm, and the condition of the road. Who is going to see that the road gets fixed before snowfly? We are in a high fire danger, and the piles of brush are a concern, including hanging dead trees on Quarry and Pickerel Pond. The sides of the roads have not even been mowed. Strange, my last town Strange, my last town road commissioner was great. Thank you for looking into this. So I guess we could pass this on to the road commissioner.
So I know that it's just for the season where we post the roads, but we do have an agreement on paper. If there's damage to the road, that Carroll Materials will repair. And I personally also live on Quarry Road at the other end, I think.
I was gonna say, like the very end, right?
I've seen him mowing the sides of the roads. So I know that he's out there, I know that he's working, but definitely, we can bring the concerns. Glad that they emailed us.
Okay, so we can pass this information on to him and we can react accordingly. Okay, I do have one item that's come to my attention. Not this year, but in the past years, we have had a contract for our electric provision that is different than the CMP standard rate. And so, you know, we've got, we got some bills today, and the standard rate is kilowatt hour of 10.6363 cents per kilowatt hour. And we can look into this. We have some quotes for, you know, 12-month contracts that are a little below or, you know, equal to the standard rate. So I'll pass this on so, you know, we can look to see if we want to negotiate with, negotiate for a contract again. So I'll pass this on to each of us, but this was addressed to both myself with a copy to Alicia. So maybe Alicia, if you could send that quote to all of us, or the rest of us, that would be good, and then we can look and see if we want to. Well, they range from approximately they range from 10.607 cents up to 10.916, and it depends on the length of time. So a 12-month rate is going to be lower than the lowest of the quoted. So we'll review this and, you know, possibly next week look into whether we want to negotiate a rate for our electricity service. Not through.
We authorize the board chair to negotiate an electrical rate that is less than what we pay now.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll review it with them, since I was the one that signed that in the past for, we had a 5-year term at one point for just over 7 cents back when, you know, the good point of agreeing to a longer term rate is that we're not subject to increases from CMP. So that's what happened last time. We were at 7 cents, and I think the standard rate was up to 14 cents at the end of our term. So I will do so. Thank you.
Vote on it.
We had a motion and a second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, with that, I will contact them and see what we can do.
I make a motion, we accept the proposal from Charles Pellegrino to remove the chimney to below the roof, remove rotten wood and replace with shingles at the Moore Building on Main Street.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Was that for the 2,000?
The $2,000 one.
Okay, and I believe that is all the old and new business, so are there any hearing of citizens?
Yeah.
You took so long, that's the problem. You were the one with me tonight, for God's sakes. With all the money we put in all this stuff, we ought to put a little more budget in so we get another microphone for up there.
We approved them tonight.
Okay, or at one time we had some portable mics we used to pass around the room.
You saw that one's broken.
Okay. Speaking about cameras and mics, the camera at the Lookout, what's the latest, greatest on that? That's been seen, there's a lot of activity up now. I don't know if you people get up there and notice, but there's an awful lot of skid marks and everything else now, and
They're gonna give us a price on a cellular camera. We haven't got the price yet, so I'll reach back out to them.
going on now.
A year.
Okay. The other thing is with all the stuff going on in the neighborhood, the panic alarms, when have they last been tested here?
Last year at least? Yeah, you set it off. Oh, Alicia made sure it worked.
Yeah, the question, and they have been switched to state police dispatch.
Oh, that was the problem originally. When were they done?
I set it off last year at some point, and I think Dottie accidentally set it off, or set it off on purpose to see.
Yeah, all right, I'm just saying.
And when we
Yeah.
did, it made sense.
Well, I'm just
Give it a
saying,
shot.
because, you know,
I think we want to know if it's going to the right, to the state troopers.
that was one of the things before. It is now. I'm just saying that.
And just so you know, what I did, I thought that top button was where I could open it,
Both buttons
and that's a panic
are
button.
panic buttons.
Yeah.
Huh?
And they do come. Yes.
Do they come guns blazing?
Yeah, we had a few years there where it didn't work.
And they call, well, no, actually, I don't think that they did call, I think it just came, and maybe it depends on how
Well,
close someone is, but
Right,
I didn't want them to come, I afraid they weren't going to come. But they did.
That's just something you gotta work at. The other thing, is there any update on utility truck being fixed? The reason I asked is Ricky and I went over yesterday there to get the UTV for the fire we had there, and you know, just kinda 9 months that thing's sitting there. Needs a turbo, we all know it, but I just can't quite comprehend why we're not fixing the truck,
Which one?
the utility.
Have you asked the fire chief?
I've not asked the fire chief, I have asked the select board here 100 times.
So that's,
I recommend asking the fire chief on that.
well,
like the-
that is the truck with the big box in the back, right? That if you go up to our brand-new fire station, has a big sticker on the side that says, "Do not use." Is that the one?
Yep, out of service.
I make a motion, we direct the fire chief to either fix or get rid of that truck.
We went up there, and you have to back a pickup in the second door, cut at an angle to try to hook this thing up to go to an emergency. And last Sunday,
I-
Tim Smurella, we had to go to Hiram, all right, for somebody that was lost in the woods. Same thing, a personal vehicle, and, you know, the irony to that was, we got up in the Baldwin there, and nobody would pull over for Tim. And I'm just laughing, because you're just seeing a pickup behind, you know what I mean? They didn't care. And it's just saying, I mean, Ricky knows people that'll put a turbo in. There's 3 or 4 people in town here that'll put a turbo in. I just, you know, do you blue in the head? And that has our air packs and everything in that, you know, knock on wood. We haven't had a structure fire, and nobody else has, because that's our air van that produces air in. Let's face it, we could use it, you know, for amongst other things. I just hope there's a good reason.
Was the motion seconded?
I seconded it,
I want to reword it.
change it.
I make a motion that we direct the fire chief to either fix or get rid of the utility truck assuming he has funds in his budget to do so. And if he does not, we direct fees from the code office to pay for the repair.
We, if it disappeared, there's $10,000 emergency fund that we set up years ago for a catastrophic failure, because we had a catastrophic failure on that truck, and we had to put all the new heads to 15,000 or whatever it was we didn't have. But either way,
In the past, we've had a discretionary account that got voted down last year, so we don't have that, but we do have the right to spend incoming fees, and we know the code officer's fees are up very nicely, so it shouldn't be a matter of finding the money. If we have the truck, it either needs to run or get rid of it.
I second the amended motion.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
I'm going to abstain because I'm on the fire department. Just make a record of that, please.
look at the invoices for repairs that we've had on here, okay? Because it failed inspection, we brought it down, had all the work done to bring it up to inspection and everything else, and then it went down, body work and everything else, and then this last slip that come in, stuff that wasn't on it that was repaired by the mechanical people, had to do another $3,989 worth of work to it. That, in my professional terms, was damage done during the repairs. And why are the taxpayers on the hook for this? So, that's just something you probably don't look in detail at some of the stuff, and it just struck me. I said, wow, look at this, because none of that was noted on the previous one, that everything was fixed, okay? We don't have to get in the detail. I can at some point, it doesn't bother me. The other thing was, there was some mention a few weeks ago about our generator and stuff. But and my point was that, for 3 months, we were in the station without a generator, and I know there was an auxiliary hookup, okay? But as you can see where that's sitting, all right, is across the street. So power goes out, doors don't open. What do we use to get that across the street to be hooked up? All right, and Ricky will tell you, either Ricky's gonna go, I'm gonna go, we're gonna tow that across the street, but it's all time consuming. So I like to defend myself and saying that, yeah, should have been sitting over at the new station, right, ready to be plugged in, is my
How did
point.
we used to move it when it was like on the other side of the station during a storm?
One of us would come up and do it if it wasn't done before, but as you know, and people will tell you, before a storm, I'd get up and I'd start making some phone calls, say, hey, we ought to back it over to the station, plug it all in, and it's ready to go with just a flick of the switch, okay? My point was, during that 3 months we were in there, that was across the street, okay? So you would have not had any of our trucks able to come out. Yeah, you can hand crank the doors, but time is time. But that's all. I don't like people saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's late here, so I will kind of leave you with that. We can resume some other time, but, and hopefully the brush truck shows up. I'm sure it'll be here for the Christmas parade, but we've had a lot of brush fires. And when we purchased that in December, we were told we'd have it for brush season, so I think that's probably the worst thing this town has ever invested in, so, anyway. Motion to adjourn.
Any further hearing of citizens?
We are going to have at some point, the ARPA funds that are left, the funds from the American Rescue Plan, those have to be obligated by the end of the year. So we're going to have to, I've had some people request and recommend what they thought they should be used for. Vinnie had some use for it. The Hollandville project had some use for it. I don't think that would be a valid expense, but we will look into that, and next week, I I'll go through a list of everything that is acceptable, and then we're gonna have to have a fairly quick, special town meeting to appropriate the money, because we can't, to spend the money, because that money has to be voted for to spend. So,
Are you all set? I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?